Good day to everyone. Tulad ng sinabi ko, this is the second part of the planning or the law enforcement planning. And here are the following general process of planning. First is the recognition of the need to plan. Second, formulate the objectives. Third, gather and analyze data. Fourth, evaluate alternatives. And last, execute the plan. So we'll go through each of it. Isa-isayin natin. First, recognition for the need to plan. In this part, we identify if the circumstance requires planning to avoid wasting valuable resources. First and foremost, of course, identify muna natin kung kailangan ba talaga ng plano or hindi. That's the first question we should answer. Do we really need to make a plan or not? Because if we do, at hindi naman kailangan, we are only wasting valuable resources. Manpower, money, and the time, especially the time. So after ma-identify, ma-confirm, ma-verify if we really need a plan, the next thing we should do is these three. First is formulate the objectives. In this part, we set clear goals for the expected result of upon the accomplishment of the plan. Ibig sabihin, in this part of the planning process, we clarify kung ano ba talaga yung target natin, yung goal natin, yung objective natin for making the plan. Why do we need to do this? We do this para alam natin yung tatahakin nating proseso, sistema, at step-by-step procedure sa pagpaplano at sa pagkandak nung paplanuhin natin. Next is to gather and analyze data, wherein we collect information from various trusted resources. So, in this part also, we are evaluating the information if it is relevant or irrelevant. Hindi lang basta-basta kolekta ng kolekta. We are collecting information sa ating mga resources. Ano ba mga resources? Then babalik po tayo sa open resources and sa closed resources. Open resources, those are readily available. Internet, newspaper, ganyan. Closed resources naman, ito naman po yung informations from either an informer or informant. In this part of the planning process, especially, lalo na kung ang paplanuhin natin are law enforcement operations, specifically covert na operations, so we will be utilizing both of those kinds of resources. And alamin din natin, again, sabi ko nga, kung relevant ba or irrelevant. If it is irrelevant, that should already be eliminated from the information. Next step is to identify if the goals and objectives can be obtained in a different way. These are the formulate the alternatives. So may plano ka na. You already know if you need a plan. And then next, you already set your goals and objectives sa gagawin mong plano. The next, you've done your research, you've collected informations, you've confirmed the resources. Ngayon naman, you will be thinking if your goal and objective can be achieved in a different way. Pwede nyo rin tawagin to na pag-iisip ng Plan B, Plan C, D, E. Hanggang sa maubos yung alpabeto. Dagdagan nyo kung gusto nyo. In this part of the planning process, inaalam lang natin kung paano kapag nangyari yung ganito. Anong gagawin natin? Paano kapag nangyari yung ganito? Pwede ba tayong umasa sa ganitong tao? Ganyan. Yun yung mga questions na pwede nating tanungin and sagutin dito sa part na to ng planning process. Next, last but not the least, is execute the plan. After all those 4 steps in planning process, you could implement the plan, execute the plan, take actions. No, gagawin na yung plano. Ulitin ko lang, These five are the general planning process. And based on different resources, no, mag-iiba-iba po yung planning process. Pwedeng hindi lang 5 yung process na makita ninyo. But in this part, no, this is the general process that we will be recognizing, and it includes only 5 process. Ano ba example ng resources na merong more than 5 steps in planning process? According to TOPPR, sagutin muna natin yung tanong, Sir, ano yung TOPPR? This is a website that helps you in planning. Okay? And according sa kanila, there are 8 steps in planning process. Number 1, same as we discussed, recognizing the need for action or the need for planning. In this part din, also, no, diyan din inaalam kung kailangan ba talaga ng action. And may karagdagan dito sa first step nila. In recognizing the need for action, you should also do a SWOT analysis. Ulitin ko, SWOT analysis. S-W-O-T. Pwedeng nakasalamuhan nyo na yan sa iba nyo pang mga subjects. No? SWOT, ang ibig sabihin, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So dito, sa recognizing the need for actions, kailangan din pong alamin daw kung ano ang strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And therefore, diyan malalaman natin kung gagawa tayo ng plano with regards sa threats para maagapan, ma-prevent yung threats, opportunities para magamit yung opportunities at malubos, no? Make the most out of it. And strength and weaknesses ang pagbabasihan natin kung paano natin i-approach yung issue natin sa pagpaplano. Okay. Next, setting objectives. Same as the general process then, no? Setting objectives, you are clarifying what are your goals and your objectives na dapat makamit upon completion or upon doing the plan. Next, developing premises. Ito medyo kakaiba rin, and ang pinakakailangan tandaan dito, developing premises is the step where you make hypothesis. Ano ba ang hypothesis? Ito yung mga sa mas madaling salita are intelligent guess. Bakit intelligent guess, sir? So may pambobo ba na guess? No, wala namang ganon. Ang pinagkaiba ni hypothesis sa talagang hula, hypotheses are based on some facts. Okay? There are facts that could support the hypothesis. However, it is called the hypothesis for a purpose dahil hindi pa ho siya napapatunayan. So, sa pagpaplano, hulaan nyo na kung ano yung pwedeng mangyari. So, halimbawa, if we add additional law enforcers sa pagkandak ng crisis management ng mob dispersion, baka isipin ng tao that's too much of a force to show. No, baka pwede pa kayong mapasok sa police brutality. Baka ganun pa ang maging interpretation ng pagpapakita o pagdadagdag nyo ng additional na personnel. Yun po ang isang halimbawa ng developing premises. Next, identifying alternatives. This is same with formulating alternatives, wherein you are identifying contingency plans or alternative plans kung paano nyo makakamit yung inyong goal and objective. Next, ito yung mga karagdagan nila. The number 5, examining alternate course of action. So in this part, yun, di ba, na-identify nyo na kung ano yung mga pwedeng steps na tahakin, ano yung mga iba't ibang paraan na pwedeng makamit yung goal ninyo. In the number 5, yung examining alternate course of actions, dito, posible po kayong gumawa ng aalamin nyo dun sa mga alternative course of action if and when. Alamin kung alin yung pros and cons ng mga alternative actions na yon. Alamin nyo kung alin ng dito makakatipid tayo. Dito, hindi natin kailangan ng suporta galing sa ibang stasyon. May mga example ng examining. Next, selecting the alternative. Dito naman, in this part, you will be selecting kung ano ba talaga ang tatahakin yung plano or gagamitin ninyo. Yun lang ang pinaka-step na to. Alamin nyo which of the alternative will you be doing and will you be implementing on the last part of this planning process. Next, formulating support plan. Eto, sa support plan, dito talaga yung contingency plans or yung tinatawag nating compromising. If the plan, first step, second step, nagawa ninyo, smooth lang. However, nung third step, nagkaroon ng problema, may issue. Support plan will be providing the contingency or backup plan sa kapag na pumalpak man yung third step nyo. So, dito ginagawa ang mga contingency plans. Ulitin ko. And last but not the least, of course, the implementation of the plan. I-execute na po yung plano. So, that is the planning process according to the TOPPR, which consists of, balikan natin, 8 planning process. So, kapag may plano naman, aalamin natin kung ano ang nakaka-apekto dito or the factors affecting planning. Number 1, condition. Condition includes the economic and political condition of the environment. Bukod sa pagpaplano mo, tatantyahin mo rin yung mga ganap-ganap sa ekonomiya at sa politika kung talaga bang yan ay magagawa mo. Okay? Especially if your plan includes a broad audience. Number 2, of course, time. Time, papasok po yung deadline. This factor includes the deadline of how long could you plan or how long do you have to plan sa pag-take ng actions. Example, you have 3 months to plan and the action should took place on the 3rd month na. So, marami ka pa talagang oras. However, kapag halimbawa may klase ng operation na binigay sa'yo that you only have, let's say, an hour to plan kung ano ang gagawin nyo dyan, yan, maraming compromise ang mangyayari dyan. At mahirap makagawa ng plano ng sobrang perfect within that time limit, no? Depende pa sa anong klaseng operation. Next, number 3, resources available. Resources available. So, alamin kung ano ang meron, no? Makontento ka. Hindi. Maalamin kung ano yung meron and then dun ka magbabase kung ano ang kayang gawin, no? As part of this, what? Masasabi rin yan. If you know your strengths, okay, and you know your weaknesses, you can identify what you can do and what you cannot do. Next, the skills and attitude of the management. Ang ibig sabihin nitong number 4 is yung mga skills and kakayahan mismo ng mga personnel that you will be putting, delegating doon sa plano mo. Yung mga bibigyan mo ng trabaho. Yan bang taong yan? Is that the right man for the right position? Is that the right man for the right authority? Yun po yung mga tanong na kailangan sagutin dito sa skills and attitude of the management. Number 5, physical facilities. Of course, katulad ng resources available, kailangan mo rin alamin kung ano yung mga physical facilities na meron kayo. Therefore, you have the capability of doing. Example is crime laboratory. You cannot process forensic evidence kung wala ka naman crime laboratory within your office. Therefore, you will be seeking help from other offices. Yun ang example naman ng physical facilities. And the collection and analysis of data. Ito pa. Ang plano, Sabi natin, alamin kung may plano. Next, magsiset ng goal and objective. Next, gathering and analyzing data. Pero sa factors affecting planning, collection and analysis of data, parte din. Bakit? Because upon collection of information, you will know kung alin ang viable, feasible sa hindi. Ano naman ibig sabihin nun, sir? Ibig sabihin ng feasible, yung kaya nyong makamit or magawa realistically. And yung viable, no, according to your resources, yung kaya nyo talagang magawa. Diyan yan papasok pag nalaman nyo na yung mga data, yung mga informasyon. Paano malalaman? Through collection and analysis of data. Okay? Ulit-ulitin natin. Condition, papasok po dyan ang political and economic factors na current events na pwedeng makaapekto sa iyong plano. Time, deadline. Kung gaano kahaba ang oras na meron ka para magplano. Number 3, resources available. Resources includes manpower, money, time, yan. Kasama yun sa resource available. Skills and attitude of management. Again, the skills and capabilities of the personnel that you will be putting on a certain job. Physical facilities naman is based on the word itself naman, no, yung mga literal establishment na magbibigay sa iyo ng kakayahan at ng kawalan ng kakayahan sa paggawa ng isang bagay. And last is the collection and analysis of data, which in turn will give you the information kung ano ba talaga ang kaya nyong gawin sa inyong pagpaplano at alin ang hindi. Options, yan yung makikita. Okay, moving on. Sa paggawa ng plano, tatandaan po, there is a tinatawag na responsibility in planning. The internal policy planning and the external, of course. In the internal policy planning, dito po papasok yung mga sa pagpaplano ninyo, maaapekto yung organization nyo internally. Okay? Planning is usually done by the higher officials. Example is the chief PNP. And in that kind of planning, of course, all of the subordinates or all the personnel under his span of control will take cognizance and will take actions according to the plan you have created. Yun yung ang tinutukoy dito sa internal policy planning, kung paano siya makakaapekto. Okay? Dito binanggit na naman yung post the curve. Ewan ko kung narinig nyo na ang chief PNP or the higher officials will be responsible for planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, controlling, reporting, and budgeting ng buong police organization para makapagplano ng makapagplano or to create a plan that is effective and efficient. No, in our time of studies, ang acronym namin dito is post the curve, yung planning, organizing, staffing, etc. So internal policy planning, madali lang naman intindihin. Internal means sa loob, so within the organization. Your planning, the effect of your plan within the organization. Next, the broad external policy planning. So kung meron sa loob, syempre meron din sa labas para mas safe. Is the responsibility of the legislative branch of the government. The main concern of the police in this broad external policy planning is assisting the legislature in their determining of police guideline through the passage of appropriate laws and ordinances for police to enforce. Dito sa broad external policy planning, tinutukoy dito na may responsibilidad na may responsibilidad din daw ang pulis sa pagtulong sa legislatura or sa legislature or the Congress sa paggawa ng mga batas na susundin nila. Okay? So, pag pinag-usapan natin sa internal policy planning, it focuses the effect of the planning within the organization. And dito naman, sa external, yun sa labas naman. Example is the laws in which you should be aligning your plans accordingly. Yun po yung example ng external na policy planning or kailangan yung bantayan at maapektuhan ng inyong pagpaplano. It should be with accordance of the law. So that would be all for now. Thank you for listening.
Stay curious and subscribe for more.